many of you remember the jingle? Let your fingers do the walking through the yellow pages. Most people today don't remember the jingle. People don't search the same way. People, I remember when people would buy Yellow Page advertisements, start off paying $250 a month. Next year, $250 a year. Next year is $500. The next year is $1,000. The next year is $1,500, and it just keeps on going. And I go out and talk to them about marketing their website today, and they don't want to pay anything for it. You are paying $2,000 for a Yellow Page that nobody uses anymore, but you're not willing to drop $500, $600, $1,000 to market your site on the internet where people are looking. People start their buying decisions on the internet. They talk to other people, which is where social comes in, which is where social is good, and you've got to do your social. You got to do your Facebook, you got to do your Twitter, you got to do your LinkedIn, you got to have all those other things. But people begin their buying decisions on the internet. 72% of all business-to-business buying decisions begin on the internet. 64% of business client begins on the internet. And 77% of users will click on the organic before they'll click on the paid. Everybody knows what organic is? It's natural traffic it builds. It's basically the opposite of paid. The question is, though, where do we click? 43%, almost 40, well, 42% will click on the first organic link. Another, almost 12% will click on the second organic link. But the next biggest group is going to go to the second page, which means that you've got 53% chance of getting them if you're not on the first page, because they will go to the second, or they will type in something else. So the thing you've got to do is you've got to try to find what they're looking for and then be positioned for that when they go to find it. How often do we search? I don't have the numbers for 2011, but in January of 2010, there were 10.2 billion searches done on the internet of 2.4 trillion pages. The search engines index pages. They don't index websites. So you can see that it's going to be difficult. But since Google got 65.2%, Yahoo and Bing got a total of about 26, 27%, and everybody else had to deal with the balance, Google is the place to go. Now, I mentioned to you that when I first started doing this, you could basically go in and you could deposit your information on 2,000 search engines and you didn't have a problem. Well, in 2000, this is what the search engines looked like. Everybody was feeding off of everybody else. You see Google's feeding Yahoo and Netscape. You see eTomi is feeding Hotbot and NBC and MSN and all of that. This is what we had, so that you needed to optimize for various sites, various search engines in order to be able to get there. This is what we got in 2010. We are now down to the fact where we actually have 3 search engines that we deal with, and they basically feed all the rest of them. And as of last year, Google, Yahoo, and Bing started consorting, and they're getting together now. So, we don't know what we're liable to wind up with 2 search engines that we have to deal with coming up. So the bottom line is, right now, though, Google is top. Google is a crawler. There are several different types of search engines, but Google is a crawler. Google, Yahoo, and Bing, all 3 operate off of a robot, bot for short, crawler, whatever you want to call them. But it goes out and it looks at each page on each site. Now, Google will not go out and look at every page on your site initially. When you go in and you post to Google, it's liable to be, they liable to index you sometime in the next 3 or 4 days, but it could be a couple of months before you actually wind up there. Remember, this is not something you do one time. It's not something that you can do and get it done quickly. You have to take the steps.